All right, look, there's only one rule you should follow in life, and that one rule is going to take you very, very far. Okay, and as soon as you accept this as a rule, your life will be so much easier and so much better. Okay, and guess what? It's very simple. What you have to do is this. Anytime there's a failure, anytime you fail in life, whether that's you do business, whether that's in a game, whether that's you hurting yourself in the gym, any single thing, I want you to do one thing and one thing only. Find out the lesson of that failure. All right. This is something that I feel like is very, very, very helping me. I don't even know if that's even a sentence, but whatever. I feel like it's something that's helping me a lot in life right now. There is no such thing as failures to me. I don't fail in anything. I just learn. Now, what becomes a failure is if you don't learn from it. I promise you one thing and one thing only. For example, yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago, I was working out and I was doing a lot of calisthenic stuff. I was trying to do a plank, I was trying to do muscle ups, I was trying to do everything. Now, what happened was when I was doing the planks, whatever, I was able to do them, you know what I mean? I was able to do them, push myself. Then I started doing muscle ups. Then I felt like I tweaked something in my arm. Nothing crazy, anything, but what was my lesson? My lesson was this. Okay, from now on, just train one thing, whether that's planks or pull-ups or muscle ups. For me specifically, pick one thing and train to it and stick to it. That's gonna cancel out the injury factor. Okay, I just learned that. Now, another thing is, okay, maybe I was hanging out with someone and I felt like I was talking too much and it didn't go as planned. All right, afterwards, I'm like, all right, cool, I just learned something. All right, what did I learn? All right, don't do this next time. Call it a day. Now, when it comes to business, you try and add and it fails. You be like, okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, this is what I did wrong. Just learn from it. You fuck up in anything. What is the lesson? Because failure is your teacher. That's how I see it, and I feel like that's how most people should see it. It's as very, very simple as that. So from success, you're gonna learn certain type of lessons. From failures, you're gonna learn a different type of lesson. All right, and guess what? What you learn from failure, you can't learn from success. And what you learn from success, you can't learn from failure. You know why? Because failure is its own thing. Success is its own thing. You can teach someone how to be successful, but you can't teach them how to go through the failures. Okay, and now what do I mean by that? It's a simple fact that failure, when you learn from it, it will tell you how to succeed. But being successful, it won't teach you how to not fail. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a one-way street. Failure would teach you how to be successful, but successful doesn't teach you anything. So when you really think about it, failure is the only thing that you can really learn from. People be like, okay, learn from this person's success. No, you're learning from his failures, because they're going to be like, his success was working hard. No, what it was every time he failed, he kept going. You see what I'm trying to say? This is how you become unstoppable, especially in life, because no matter what happens, you will always be learning. You will always be developing. So how does your competition even stay with you and even compete with you when for you, there's no such thing as failure? You just keep going. You learn. You keep making ads, you keep making ads, you keep making ads. You keep learning, you keep learning. And then the law of large numbers, which is going to be next video, is eventually you will make it. If you do something so many times and you keep trying to improve every single time, eventually you will make it. You can't not make it. It just doesn't work like that. You try to be a YouTuber, you keep posting videos, keep trying to make it better every single time, eventually you will make it. Now, whether that means it's in 1 week, whether that means in 5 days, 5 months, 5 years, 5 decades, doesn't matter. Eventually you will make it. The speed is something that you can't control most of the time. All right, you can, but I don't want to go off track. Now, every time something happens, all right, for the younger self, for the older self, doesn't really matter. When you adopt this mindset, everything feels so much better. All right, everything feels so much better. People try to make fun of you. People try to talk to you shit about it. Oh, no. Anything that ever happens, take it as a lesson. You go out with a girl, bad thing happened, she doesn't like you. You'd be like, okay, what happened? What did I do wrong? Instead of dwelling on it and just being like, okay, I just won't do that next time. It's as simple as that. You make a YouTube video, it is trash. You'd be like, how can I do better next time? Okay, I do this. That's it. There's no point in thinking. There's nothing to think about. Like Mark Douglas in his book, when it comes to trading, stop thinking. There's nothing to think about. You just do what you have to do and you move on. You get the lessons, you capture them, you learn from them, put them together. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to do anything else. You're making things so much more difficult than what it is. Today, I had a call with my business partner. We talked about so many things. We were talking about this and we talked about this. And then we came to a conclusion. We're like, all right, let's stop talking. What do we do? Saturday, we do this. Sunday, we do this. And then we'll move forward from there. It's like everything felt so much more clear and simple after that. You know why? Because it is clear and it is simple. Back to one of my first videos, I was saying you're making everything more complicated because you think the more complicated, the better, but it's not. The more simple is better. Simple doesn't mean easy. Simple means just, why would you want things complicated when you can have it simple? Once again, simple does not mean easy, and complicated does not mean hard. But there's only one thing, like I'm saying over and over again, no matter what happens, bro, just take everything as a lesson, whether that's a good thing, whether something bad happens. Every little thing is a lesson. And as soon as you can adopt that lesson, you'll just make less and less mistakes. And you'll just keep getting better, better, and better. Because you're telling me this. Over a large number of times, say over 5,000 times, any little micro thing, those lessons that I'm talking about, micro lessons, I'm gonna call them micro lessons. When you start to really pay attention to those micro lessons and try to really implement it, whether that means you learn from it and don't try it next time, whether that means you learn from it and you do try it next time, whatever that means, over 5,000 times, all those little micro lessons, you're telling me you won't get better, whether that means it's in anything. In life and talking to people, making videos, anything, all those 5,000 micro lessons, if you really implement it and pay attention, you're telling me you won't get better. Because that's a lie. You will get better. And now imagine 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 times in a year. I don't even know if that's a realistic number or not. I'm just making up a number for number's sake. 20,000 times in a year, you get micro lessons and you keep learning from them. Eventually, it's like a game. Eventually, you'll get used to it, and all these little lessons, you just keep learning, and I don't know how to describe it. You're just gonna keep getting better. It's as simple as that. That's realism right there. Mind you, all because you learned a lesson doesn't mean you're gonna implement it right away. That's what I'm saying. The same lessons are gonna keep coming. You have to actually implement it for a change. It's as simple as that, I promise you. Every lesson, every failure is a lesson. Just remember that, trap it in your head, implement it, and you'll just get better. That's it.